But what I want to talk today is about how to get control of that anxiety so that we can allow the beautiful things to come into our lives. So as somebody who was pretty much born with anxiety, I literally, my mom said that I came out screaming, okay? So I really believe that it's something that I have had since birth. And so as somebody who has struggled with it for so long, I've really found a lot of ways to combat it. I've found a lot of ways to transform it into something beautiful. And so I'm really passionate about sharing this with other people and helping people who have anxiety to know that, you know, it sucks. Anxiety sucks. But there are so many ways to help it. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a simple way to stop with the anxiety, to get the anxiety under control and the fear. So if you're somebody who's maybe struggled with anxiety your whole life like me, or if you're somebody who just might be struggling with some fears and anxieties lately and need to get through some of those, this video is for you, okay? So we all know that deep breathing helps. We know this. This is something that is very in vogue right now. Deep breathing, it helps. It's a fact, and I have to say this right now, I am not ripping on deep breathing at all because it works. I mean, it's a fact. Deep breathing, what it does, it's been proven, you know, it's been shown in our bodies that when we're anxious, our breath gets short, gets shallow, and gets more shallow, and I'm trying to think of the word. It gets more shallow and shorter. Okay, so our breath, we're not breathing in as deep, and we're not breathing in as long, and we're not breathing in as deep. So what happens when our breath is shallow like that is that it makes our nervous system rev up. Okay, so it's that part of our nervous system, that fight or flight, gets revved up, and we can't necessarily think clearly. We can't remember things. So what happens then if we are able to breathe deeper is that we are able to remember things, our body calms down, the part of our nervous system, the rest and digest part of our nervous system it gets activated. So it's actually proven that deep breathing will help if you have anxiety, that it will help you to, lessen that anxiety. There's a problem though, there's a catch to this, okay? So, and those with anxiety probably know, I wouldn't say everybody knows this, but this happens to a lot of people who have anxiety, is that when you tell somebody with anxiety to concentrate on their breath, it could actually make the anxiety worse, okay? So I don't know why, don't ask us. All I can tell you is that the first time, this was probably in my mid-20s, the first time somebody told me to that they could help me with my anxiety by, or I think I read this, somebody told me or I read this, that in order to get help with your anxiety, you sit in a room by yourself and just think about your breathing. Just concentrate on your breathing. And all I can tell you is that freaked me out. Concentrating on my breathing freaked me out even more. It didn't help. Okay, so once again, I'm not ripping on deep breathing. It obviously does help, but some of us are not at a point where we can do it or where it's going to help. Now, luckily, throughout the years, I've gotten to a point where I am a yogi now, I practice yoga, my yoga teachers are gonna kill me when they hear this. So I'm at a point where now I can do the deep breathing, but some of you may not be at a point where, you might be at a point where you just don't wanna hear somebody tell you to concentrate on your breath because it doesn't work for you. Okay, so eventually it does work, but right now, and even right now in my life, there might be some points where I'm not going to do the deep breathing because it's just not going to work for me at that point. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a technique that does not involve deep breathing. Even though we know it works, it's a fact and all that kind of stuff, but that catch is that sometimes with people who have anxiety, when they concentrate and focus on their breath, it actually makes their anxiety worse. I don't know what it is about thinking about your breath that can make you even more anxious. I won't even get into that, okay? So what I want to talk about today is other techniques. We need other things besides deep breathing to help with our anxiety, okay? And so there is a lesson in A Course in Miracles, and the lesson says, "My current happiness is all I see." And so I kind of took that lesson and changed it a little bit for my clients, because sometimes my current happiness might be a little bit out of reach at the moment if you're totally freaking out about something and you can't calm down. So I've changed that a little bit to say, the perfect present moment is all I see. The perfect present moment is all I see. And so what I want you to do is when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling freaked out, when you're feeling overwhelmed, like too much is going on, maybe your brain is just firing off in all these different directions, I want you to look around and say to yourself, the perfect present moment is all I see. Okay? And I want you to look around and notice what is around you. Notice the textures, notice the colors, the sounds. This is called mindfulness, okay? And mindfulness is another very in vogue term right now, but it works, okay? Mindfulness is bringing yourself to the present moment by using all of your senses. And so use all of your senses. Really notice what is around you right now. The perfect present moment is all I see. I always tell my clients that when they're in anxiety, when they're feeling anxious, you're thinking about the future. Your brain is in the future. When you're feeling depressed, your brain is in the past. You're thinking about the past. In the present moment, everything is fine, okay? So when we're feeling anxious, it's usually because we're thinking about the future. 99% of the time, in the present moment, everything is fine. Everything is perfect. Well, 100% of the time, everything is perfect in the present moment because we're always given what we need. But 99% of the time, everything is fine. And if there's a crisis or something in the present moment, we can always deal with it. We can always deal what's happening currently. But what we can't deal with is thinking about everything that could possibly happen in the future. Ugh, nobody could deal with that, okay? It sucks. So the perfect present moment is all I see. And I want you to look around and notice the colors. This is also called self-soothing. It can be very soothing to look around and notice something different about your surroundings, noticing how perfect everything is. Don't judge anything, but you're just noticing. You're noticing the colors and you're noticing what's around you. And you might notice things that you never noticed before. I have some clients who love this technique, and it can be very soothing to be in a new place or even a place that you've been in many times, and you're looking at everything around you and you're trying to notice something different. I used to go walking on a nature trail, and my goal was every time I went walking was to find a new animal or to find something different. So that's really keeping you into the present moment. So just remember, when you're feeling anxious, it's because your brain is in the future, and you're probably trying to figure out something that you can't figure out because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and we can't possibly handle all the possibilities of what could happen in the future. So if you bring yourself back to the present moment and tell yourself, this perfect present moment is all I see, that is going to cause peace. That is going to make you feel peaceful. And that is what you want. You want to be in the present moment, and if you are in the present moment, you are going to feel peaceful. And you might need to bring yourself back into that present moment. And actually, what's going to happen, I started by talking, for those of you who are just joining, I started by talking about how I'm not going to tell you to do deep breathing, because many times people who have anxiety, telling somebody to concentrate on their breathing will actually make it worse. A lot of people are not aware of this, but those who have anxiety understand that sometimes concentrating on your breath actually makes the anxiety worse. So what we're doing is we're trying to concentrate on something else besides your breath, and what will happen is naturally that breathing will become deeper. It will become longer, and that's really what you want eventually. You do want your breathing to become deeper. You don't want it to be so shallow. You want it to be deeper, and you want to take longer breaths. Okay, and so eventually that will happen. If you are in the present moment, that'll naturally happen. And then you can maybe go on to a breathing exercise or something like that you know will help you, that you definitely know will help you. Okay, so I hope this served you today. I know it will. I know if you take this into your practice, take this into your daily life and tell yourself, the perfect present moment is all I see, and you look around and you look to notice the new things, you practice mindfulness, use all of your senses to bring you into the present moment. Why do you think I like all these colors? You know, like I have my pink chair, my purple couch. You know, noticing those colors actually is a soothing thing for me. And it really does bring you into the present moment. It's like, hello, I'm here. My chair's pink, okay? So I love those things. Bringing you into the present moment. So remember, when you're feeling anxious, your brain is in the future. When you're feeling depressed, your brain is in the past. But in the present, you can always, I promise, you can always handle what is happening in the present moment. Even if it's a crisis. I just heard a quote about something about how we always make the right decisions in a crisis. So even if it's a crisis, you will be able to handle it when it happens or if it happens. But 99% of the time, it's not a crisis, and in the present moment, everything's fine. There's nothing wrong. Okay? So I'm going to end today